Settle down, people. Settle down. All right, you are listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit with Brian and Joe. And Brian's on about something or other. Is there any place in 2020 for peacemakers? Sure there are.
You know what, Joe? At this point in time,
All right. Let me turn this down. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said at this point in time, Joe, I really don't see it. America is really in a place where people, they see things completely differently, and I have to say, and maybe it's because I'm more on the right than I am on the left, but I see the left, on average, is provoking the right, and the right may respond sometimes, like vigorously defending themselves, but I, on average, see things happening, and I can't. When two groups, when the left and the right see things so differently, is there any peace within society that can happen? And I don't, Joe. I don't know if I can see that. I see like we are the most divided that I've ever seen us.
Yep.
You know?
I am in full agreement. Oh wait, can you hear me okay? Let's see.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that there are people out there fighting for people in an effective way. And I don't think it takes, even a majority of the people. I only think it's going to be grassrootsy, because it doesn't seem like there's anybody really doing much out there. But there are a few people I know for sure who are making serious waves, doing some seriously great work. And I think for the most part, I know in at least one case I'm thinking of, where a woman in Orange County fought for her city against some fake mandates, and she won. She did well in court. She did a great job, and she came on afterwards to her podcast and did a show discussing how her paperwork and her efforts actually were very effective in fighting a mandate she thought was harmful. And the way she was rewarded by YouTube is her page, her channel got taken down, and it took a little bit of a fight, I guess, but it came back. And now it's just very interesting, who's getting rewarded and who's not, on some of the more popular platforms right now, at least. And I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I would say YouTube is pretty much, that is prime time watching. And that's where most of the heads are right now. They are on YouTube watching videos, right? It just seems that way to me, that most people right now who are into the news are going and checking out videos on YouTube. Are you there, or are you muted?
I was muted. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you look at, like I said, if you scroll down and look at the Proud Boys, look what's going on. There is the violence going on throughout
Let's see here. I just did a search on Twitter. Twitter. And I'm looking up the Proud Boys. Let's see. Rex Chapman posts pretty funny videos.
I refuse to apologize for creating the modern world. Gentlemen, 3, 2, 1. Great thoughts. 1. Cheerios. 2. Frosted Flakes. 3. Google Pop. 4.
Now that's just I mean, again, that's just, if we scroll down some more, Joey. And are we looking at this?
You looking at am I up on
StreamYard? Well, actually, you know what? I guess before there was a lot more violence, but
let's
not
see.
so much.
Dozens of Proud Boys gather for the Million MAGA March in D.C. There were dozens of them. All right, is this the violence you're talking about?
Keep scrolling down. Yeah, let's see.
Oh no, is this it?
No. These guys have blanketed the page. There it is. This is some violence right here.
Watch your foot! Go back!
Nice camera work.
Fuck Antifa!
Yeah, I mean, there it is. I mean, the thing of it is, Joe, this one was basically, it seemed like the Proud Boys were the aggressors, but on average, it is Antifa and BLM that are being the aggressors. They're usually the ones who initiate force. And the Proud Boys came about because Antifa was initiating force and they were using violence to suppress freedom of speech. And that's just the truth of it, Joe. And that the majority of Americans don't. I mean, to me, this is so obvious of a truth that there are such a large portion of Americans that don't see this is simply amazing to me. And how can there be peace when people see like Antifa as fighting fascism and and claiming that the Proud Boys are fascist Nazis, and they have the right to, that they have the right to initiate force on them. And I'm a person that doesn't believe that you have the right to initiate force. How can there be peace with a group that that goes against our notions of liberty? I just don't understand it.
Mm.
And they don't want to. And many of the groups that support many groups just seem to just refuse to look at them and see them for what they are, and just so belligerent. How can you have peace with something like that? How can there be peace with a group with groups that use violence, and then the establishment that supports those groups? How can there be peace? I don't understand it, and I don't understand why there's not a bigger rebellion against it.
And because nobody sees it.
Well, I mean, if you look on the internet, you'll see it.
Well, I'm talking about in real life, though.
Yeah, I guess in most people's day-to-day lives, they don't see it, and I guess things are filtered.
And if anything that could be on YouTube be faked or orchestrated, then why would somebody fight against something they don't see in their real life? They can only see it through the video. It's obviously amateur video, or if nobody's really seeing this stuff, well, why would they get angry about it? What's compelling?
Well, the compelling.
I went to the market today, and a woman was really nice, standing in this long line with me, and black lady, really nice, telling me about some of her experience with with the mask wearing, and how basically in how much fear she's sick of living in so much fear, is what she was telling me. And I asked her about the news and how much news is she consuming. And she said at the beginning of COVID, she said she was highly focused on the news and couldn't take her eyes off of it, and felt terrible. And now, as numbers in the media start getting pumped up again, and it seems like maybe we're headed towards who knows what, I don't know, maybe another lockdown or something. She said she's not watching the news anymore and feels so much better. And she said that her thinking on things is a lot more clear, but she's still scared of getting the virus. So there was that. I thought she was kind of interesting. And somebody else joined us and was chipping in, and people are just dying to talk, and it doesn't matter with who. They just want to share their stories and how they're feeling, and all these, the three of us, we're all very different backgrounds. You could just tell. And it was pretty interesting as it unfolded right there in the supermarket line. And I just was thinking, like, these people, I hear it endlessly. People stopped watching the rich media cycle, just bombarding us with all these different angles and rabbit holes and beliefs and ideals, and people just tune in. the people that are tuning out of that are telling me that across the board, I haven't heard a single person yet who's told me they watch less news and feel less informed and worse. They feel better and they don't worry about these sort of things. But but then I get home tonight and it seems like people are back to talking about issues like race and Antifa and the Proud Boys, and then even you wanted to do a show on it. So it's interesting. Once we get home and settled into our desktops, that's what's popping up. Are you muted again? Yes, you are. You are so muted, it's crazy.
Yes, I kind of feel like I am watching the news, and I'm watching. To me, what angers me most is I'm watching a manipulation and a fooling of perceptions on things, and in a way, and you see it in one way. I think that we're being manipulated. I see it another way. I mean, we both, and tell me if I'm wrong. We both think that people are being manipulated. You believe that they're being manipulated in one. I mean, in one way, and I believe they're being manipulated in another. And the thing of it is, I mean, we're always manipulated.
Here's one area where, so you think we're heading maybe towards a civil war, and I'm saying we're already in a spiritual war, a heavy spiritual battle, and that battle is the govern. Govern means to rule, and it means the mind, and so we are under a war for our minds, and the more we absorb the government nonsense, the more we are allowing, we are giving away our ability to fight, and allowing our minds to be ruled over, which goes against what we're born with, and that is that we have freedom of choice, and we do have free will. Although some may argue that point, but I think that's what this is. Right now. This is what I think it's about, and the war. The war for our minds, it will never win. Are you muted again? God, click that button.
I'm sorry, I was muted again. I was looking to get. I'm thinking I can only do it tomorrow at 9:30. I was thinking of getting food for tomorrow, but.
Well, you got those nice steaks. You should make one of those.
I've already fried them up, but
oh yeah, are they any good?
You know what? I prefer maybe a less of a ribeye. I don't know. It's just me.
What? What's a less of a ribeye? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Ribeye.
Papa Grindcorn.
No. What was the problem with that steak? I need to know, because that market had a very small selection, and those seem to be going fast.
I don't know. You know what?
I will complain to this market. I will fight for better steaks.
You know what? I prefer something smaller.
Oh.
I have to. I prefer like a boneless ribeye also.
Yeah, that bone's dangerous. Don't eat that bone.
But Joe, the way I see it is the media is basically saying they're peaceful protesters when they're not, and they don't recognize that the left habitually uses violence to suppress free speech.
Now, did you marinate this meat, or did you
Yeah.
simply fry it up?
I marinated it, fried it up with. I cooked it too long, actually.
All right. So I'm okay. Okay.
But getting back, that's a bit, and that is a big problem. And when people don't, they're either ignoring it or they downright support it. And how can you have peace with people that demonize certain groups that I see shouldn't be demonized as much as they are, and they ignore or promote one group as good that I don't see as good? How do you wrap your mind around that fact? How for me, it's like we're not seeing the same thing. And if you believe that, if you believe one group is using violence, to me, it's like someone is beating up his wife, and sometimes his wife will haul off and punch him in the face after they've had enough. How do you resign yourself to the fact that you see things happening, and it's like, for me, I see the violence happening, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is happening, and it's happening a lot, and the media is ignoring it. And not only is the media ignoring it, but they are actively suppressing speech that's out there. I mean, I would say the establishment seems to be either ignoring it or lying about it, and that's a problem. And that's a problem with me, and it has angered me. The manner in which the lies that they seem to tell and the misinformation that they seem to tell does bother me. I mean, you may think it's all a bunch of phony, baloney stuff, but I see it as real, and I see the establishment protecting certain groups over others, and the establishment is left, and I see them as very bad.
But yet you don't think that when you say the establishment protects these, and yet you don't see that certain YouTubers are propped up. You're not seeing that YouTube is simply a branch of the government.
I see is, I don't know if YouTube is a large corporation, so certainly it probably has governmental influence onto it. And in my eyes, it has leftist. The HR departments have kind of taken over every large company, so they are protecting violent extremists while demonizing those who stand up to them. That's the way I see it.
Well, how do you think they do that? They have to create and protect the narratives that they want to push up. They have to protect the narratives that make those narratives relevant. You see, it's basically Hollywood. It's basically a full spectrum attack, and I see all of it being. I see all of them being propped up in a way that's artificial, and that's why I'm going after Tim Cast. I know you're a fan.
I think Tim Cast is the greatest red pill of in this country, and not only this country but of this world.
He is a fear-mongering, fear-porny, disturbed, beanie-wearing fool, if you ask me.
Me and you absolutely disagree.
Yes.
On that, I see him.
We'll do a show on that sometime. We're gonna have to break this down.
Yeah, and I don't see the things that you see. I mean, and that's okay. Here's the deal that pisses me off.
Yes, I'm going to start doing some responses. We're going to do videos where you do your video. I'm going to do a response to it, or vice versa, because I think we'll get somewhere with those. But go ahead.
The way that I see it, Joe, is that the like I see the whole establishment allowing for people to use violence to suppress people's freedom of expression. And America, to me, we should have freedom, and the internet, in my opinion, was meant to be a place of free expression. And all of a sudden, and it didn't necessarily happen overnight, but it slowly but surely happened, where people's right to freedom of expression on the internet became very much curtailed. And one of the reasons I want to start our that I was influenced to start our company was because we don't want corporate or government, because both want, we want a place where, hey, this is a place where you can express your opinion without censorship, and also it should be without fear of brutal reprisals. I mean, this woke cancel culture is awful. These are bad, and in my opinion, these are very bad, nasty people. They are very cruel, malicious people. Again, I got told to fuck off today by I don't know who the fuck this person was, on my own city page. And I'll tell you something, man. It pissed me off. Who the fuck are you to talk, to say that shit to me? And I wanted to fucking, it happened. I didn't know whether it was, I thought it was a male at first. Turned out she was a female. But I was ready to, if somebody had said that to me, to my face, all
right, let's take a call. All right, caller, you're on with Brian and Joe.
All right, I've only listened for 1 minute.
Obviously.
And
you're Antifa, Willie.
Tell him to fuck off.
Okay.
Because all I've said here, this is what I've heard for the last fucking minute here. I've heard MMM bitch about Google and they're blocking people and all the bullshit, and how the Antifa and the left are ruining people's lives on the internet. Well, number one, I don't sound like a goddamn broken horse record. You don't need to be on the fucking internet. If you got a woman in your house, none of this other bullshit, you would not give a damn about.
Turn this imbecile. This guy is just road blocking. You are road blocking. You are bird walking. Go away. Go away. Go out to the wilderness somewhere. Go out. You need to go out on a mountain in Alaska and just slide off. Okay? Go find the Loch Ness Monster somewhere.
Ruthless tonight. Ruthless. Callers, our line is open now that Willie's been booted off.
If you have something constructive to say,
yes,
go ahead and do it. But if you want to just, sit there and this is just, he just comes on and saying, do I have a woman in my life? This guy needs to search for the Loch Ness Monster or, the abominable snowman or some shit like that. Fuck off. All right. Sorry for I'm swearing, but just a little bit upset.
That's all right. Yeah, it seems like we're just getting trollers lately. Let's get some real calls in. Well, that was a real call, but it's already been said. So, message received.
It's the same thing over and over about a fucking 1,000 times. Then I need to get a broad in my life or some shit like that. I don't need anybody. If I want to get someone in my life, I'll get someone in my life. One time, my dad said to his Aunt Margie, he said, Margie, the next time I see you, have a smile on your face. And you know what Margie said? You know what she said, Joey?
No.
She said, I'll smile when I want to smile, and slammed the door in his face. He said, wear a smile on your face. And she said, I'll smile when I want to smile. But I'll get a girl if I want to get a girl. Listen, I can get a girl at any time I want one. Right now, I'm afraid of COVID. You may think I'm stupid for that.
Yes, but maybe I should play a clip really quick. It's just, I don't want to get YouTube fired up over a stupid clip, so maybe not.
Yeah, don't get them fired up for the dumb dummy dumbs.
Yeah. All right. It was going to be a clip from Escape from New York. I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think I almost want to escape from the place that I'm living. I really think they're vile. A lot of them are really vile, mean, cruel people, and they either refuse to see the violence that that's going on around them, and the violence. Some of them actually, I would say, are in support of violence to suppress freedom of speech because they believe it's Nazis. And that, I'm going to tell you something. I almost want to me, these people are enemies. Are enemies to our country. They're enemies to freedom, and they're very. I think they're very bad people.
I don't know. Somebody sent me this clip, and I don't know if it's any good. Let's see a minute of this. See what this guy has to say.
But then this guy, some man I've never met, some guy gets paid money to threaten and harass people, turns up at my house. Well, not my house, I wasn't stupid enough to give the bank my real address. But he turned up at my mother's house. And my mum freaked out. She got really nervous, she got scared, I suppose for me, and she was like, Aidan, there's a guy here and you need to sign a bit of paper and you won't tell me what it is until you sign it, and if you don't sign it, you're going to go to prison. If you go to prison, you're going to get abused, thinking your poor mother's sitting at home worried about you. Jesus Christ, Mum. If I go to prison and I get abused and I'm thinking of you, then we have a fucking problem. Well, I don't want anybody in this world being scared because of me, certainly not my mother, so I try and fix the situation. I study, I ask people who know more than me. I even read the Bible since I base my image on it. May as well see what would Jesus do. I know Jesus didn't have a mortgage, he wasn't into that sort of thing, but he did end up in courts, and he was in court against the judge. The judge was called Pontius Pilate, and just to clarify, I don't care if you believe that Jesus was God, the Son of God, whether even he existed or not. But what I think is cool are the stories, and one of the stories that I particularly like is when he's in court against Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate says, "Are you Jesus Christ, King of the Jews?" Now, Jesus didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He said, "Is it you who's asking?" Imagine that. Imagine being on the forecourts. Are you Aidan Killian? Are you talking to me? Because if Jesus said yes, he's saying yes to being a name, and the courts might have jurisdiction over that name, and even if everything he said was true fact and honour, he could lose. And if he says no, he's in dispute, thus causing controversy. Again, the courts would have jurisdiction, and he could lose. So by answering a question with a question, just like a Kerry man, that's ingenious. Now, I know it didn't work out perfectly for Jesus in the end. But I think he was onto something. So I get this call from a private number, and I know most people who are in debt are smart enough not to answer private numbers. But just out of curiosity, people of Ireland, make some noise if you owe money to a bank. Yeah. Very happy. Don't worry, after this show, you won't owe any money anymore. So I get this call from a private number, and I answer because I believe that the universe loves me and likes to give me positive little surprises every now and then. So I say, "Hello? Is that Aidan Killian speaking? Why would someone ring me if they don't know who I am? Who's speaking, please? Oh, hi, it's Veronica here from the Bank of Ireland. Universe, fuck you. But wait, no, take it back. Maybe the universe is unfolding as it should. maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe she's not ringing from the collections department looking for €372,000 that's never going to be paid. Maybe she's ringing to tell me the truth. That money, to be more accurate, currency comes from nothing. It's backed by nothing, and therefore all debts and all mortgages are just an illusion.
Oh, okay. I see where he's going. All right. Well, and that goes on for 7 minutes. Seems like a pretty interesting.
Yeah, 7 minutes, Joey. And
it said humor, though. I didn't get the humor part. Oh, well.
Well, probably when he said he looked like, he wanted to follow Jesus because he kind of looked like him. It was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah. Yes. What? Well, maybe we'll watch it later.
By the way, YouTube is an addiction. By the way, it is like I spend hours on these YouTube rabbit holes, Joe, and I don't know how to stop it. That and eating sugar is one of my addictions.
Now we're talking about the peacemakers, and in my view, the most knowledgeable peacekeepers, or people I would consider peacekeepers, the most knowledgeable that I've heard have had one thing in common, and that was that their message was, if you really want to be a true fighter of the system, you must accept it now for what it is and for what you're signed into and all of these things. And if you want to learn more. But if you don't necessarily aren't in it to fight and go that route, the best thing you can do is be an observer. And I found that interesting. I've heard that now multiple times by people who I feel have a wealth of knowledge and their views and how they understand what the country's going through at the moment. And I found that kind of curious that they're one of their hands-on mechanisms or tools to take away from what they're saying is to go out and be an observer, and that's probably the best way that you could fight right at this moment. And I found that to be peaceful and interesting, and I consider myself an observer.
You know what? I observe, but when I observe, sometimes observing things make me it's like watching a movie. You're angry, and it's happening. It's not like it's happening in a movie where these are actors. These are real. These are real people who are behaving in ways that are really nasty and vile.
Yes, but you also have to keep in mind, but what you believe to be real, okay, is not always going to be real. As you've discovered when you sent links, and you thought that the Olive Garden had shut all their doors, but you failed to look at the source, and so at first you were off to that race, but once you took a step back and looked, you're like, oh, okay, I see what happened here. I think it's still a little unclear, but you know what I mean? Like Olive Garden going out of business would be massive news. But so anyways, it's just one of if you learn to keep that anger in check, not you, but I do it all the time because I can fly off the handle over things. Sure. All the time. But yes, I do. And but I also, when there are a lot of things that piss me off, and I definitely try to choose my battles the best way I can.
I think what would really anger you if we were roommates, it would really anger you if I used the bathroom and didn't flush. You would just you would probably go berserk.
I'll tell you a story. Today we had some work done here at the house, and the water got shut off. So
oh my God.
I was out all day. I was with you for a while, and I came back home and went to go take a piss. And I go into the bathroom, and there is just one gnarly log laying in there. because there was no water act. We didn't have water.
You cut the log in two.
So somebody had left a log in the cabin.
There we go.
Oh God, that was great.
If you were a Republican, you'd be a log cabin Republican, or maybe a log toilet Republican. I wonder how many people there were I don't think there were 1 million people at the Million MAGA March.
Million MAGA. Well, there were dozens of Proud Boys. We know that. Let's go back to that Proud Boy thread here.
You want to go to the Million MAGA March?
Yeah, why not? And now my computer's running a little slow. Give it a second here.
You know what? Someone put it up there. The Million Moron March.
What's it called? The Million what? MAGA?
The Million MAGA. And there was a lot of violence out there.
Let's see here. Go to the latest.
Yeah, people, you know what I mean? I mean, if you look at when the BLM Antifa assaulted an older man trying to leave the
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Oh, man. What the hell? You see that?
Yeah, she got punched. I mean, again,
you can't see it, though. Oh, yeah, you can. There you go. What's that?
Stop the video. See who on average the aggressors are when people are having their marches and parade. We see who the aggressors are. How can there be an olive branch or peace when they are acting violent? How can that happen? And how can it, like, to me, why on earth would I want to get, would I want to extend an olive branch to people who many of whom ignore the violence that's happening, and they know it's happening, that I see as ignoring violence that is happening, are those who believe that they have the right to do that. And I'm completely against that. How is there an olive branch, and how can there be peace on that when we so disagree? Because I completely disagree with that, Joe. It's wrong. It's fucking wrong. And there is, you know, to me, that is, I mean, like, look, we've gone to other countries and liberated them. This is against our liberty. And that is wrong. And either we protect people's liberty and the right of freedom of expression, or we don't have a country anymore. Because how long are people going to tolerate this shit? How long is that going to happen?
Huh.
I mean, how long is that going to happen where violence is, you know, where this kind of violence is normalized? They have to arrest these people. You can't do that shit. It's one thing, hey, we're not allowed on your private platforms, and you're supporting, and on your platforms, by the way, you are supporting people that use violence against people. I mean, that's
Here's
what
a guy
they're
getting
doing.
assaulted.
Get out of our fucking space! Get out of our fucking space! What the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck out of here!
What the? What the?
I mean, look at that shit, dude. Look at that shit.
Get up and get the fuck out of here!
Whoa.
Animals! Cameras away! What did you expect? What did you
All right, another caller. Who is
Is
it?
it the same person?
I don't think so.
I only have a minute here, but I just wanted to, before I got really goddamn disconnected, I just want to point out the fact about MMM. It's the same with Tim Pool. What have you done, MMM? How have you ever touched someone's life? You haven't, because you're goddamn virgin. If you go out and date a girl who had a kid or some shit like that, then you wouldn't be so worried about
Go
what's...
away. Go away, you dipshit. No, that's not true. You're full of shit. When I see you, dude, listen, Willie, when I see you, I'm gonna get the basketball thing, and I'm gonna just drive in on you in for an easy fucking layup, dude. That's what I'm gonna do, and we're gonna film it, and I'm gonna put $5,000 on the line, and you're not gonna stop me, bro. Huh? He ran away.
You want to fucking do that? None of you want to fucking do that. None of you want to fucking do that. None of you. Jerry, fucking fucking I'm gonna separate everything. I got some
Whoa.
Hey, everyone.
Whoa. Oh. Oh, wow. Do you see that ending?
Now, who hit him? Who hit him?
Yeah!
I wonder if it's that guy. No.
You want to fucking do that? None of you want to fucking do that. None of you want to fucking do that. None of you. Jerry, fucking fucking I'm gonna separate everything. I got some
I'm watching the fight, damn it.
Yes, caller. Who's this?
We're watching the fight.
Let me try to talk in tacit tone so I don't get disconnected so much.
All right.
I'm just trying to point out I'm trying to help MMM
You
out
are
here.
wrong. You are 1,000,000 times wrong. You are wrong. You're 1,000 times wrong. You are an infinity times wrong. And hold on a second. We're watching a fight right now,
Yes.
and we're making an assessment on that. So just hold on 1 second. Will we watch this fight real quick?
It's not even a minute long. Just hold your horses.
I have to pick someone at the airport. Sure.
All right. So here we go. All right. So he's going through this. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable he doesn't go down. So there he's getting socked, but he turns around and kicks that guy's ass. Pushes that guy. Up, and here he comes right behind him with a mask on. And then I guess he ends the
That's a haymaker.
and that's the haymaker that does. Oh yeah, it was boom. Yeah, ouch.
And I believe he begins to get stomped on him.
Trump, Pence. They were saying Trump, Pence out now. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is
Let's see what this. Let's see what people said about that.
let's see what people said. Because I mean,
Did you edit out the part where multiple people kicked him while he was semi-conscious, laying in the street?
now there are 36 people who mentioned that. But like I said, and again, Twitter and Facebook are supporting. It seems to be supporting these groups, and to a degree, are they not being kind of treasonous as well as the legacy media as well that are supporting these groups?
Oh no! Enough! That's it.
They love to fuck around when it's a turn to cry. You know, I mean, again, these people on average are the ones that are initiating violence. What is it?
Colin. You're on with Brian and Joe.
I just wanted to thank MMM for censoring me.
You're saying the same thing over and over again, scrotum sack.
Fucking colors. I tried to tell you a goddamn analogy. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it because it makes you fucking less of a man, which you goddamn are, which I'm trying to fucking help you with.
All right, go ahead. Spit it out. Demon breath. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Spurt out what you got to spurt out of your ass. Spurt it out.
Point. The point
Spread
is,
it out, buddy. Come on. Spread it. Spread your butt cheeks and flow it.
I could drop you off in a place that is nothing but goddamn Eskimo women. You go in there, you take your pants off, you'll have sex with the whole goddamn family. But here's the deal. They ain't got no fucking internet. Don't no one give a shit about fucking people in goddamn Portland standing around on the fucking street. This is when you know you're a fucking man, which you wouldn't be able to do. Because without bitching about stuff on the goddamn internet, you wouldn't have anything else to talk about. You don't even know who the fuck yourself is. The reason you don't know who the fuck yourself is because it's a goddamn line of traffic. And
You too. Can you finish? All right, Willie. Tell him to go. All right, Willie. The advice is not well taken, and put an ice cube up your ass. Thank you.
Well, thanks for censoring me. I thought you're railing against. Other opinions deserve to be heard, but apparently not on your shit show.
Hang up on him, Joey.
All right. What's the video that this guy posted? I'm not sure what.
I want to see what the video. Where's the video? Is it in the private chat? Where's the video?
Is this it? Oh.
Shoot her kids! She has her kids!
What the hell? That's a weird.
What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that was really weird.
Where's the video that that YouTube Addiction has? Where is it?
Hang up in. He said he posted a video. Search Linwood on the Howie Carr show.
Okay.
All right, let's see if we can find that. I'll search it out. Go ahead and say what you got to say, Brian.
Well, as I'm seeing right now, like I said, it's the left that that is proposing this. And Joey, here's the deal. I think that my caning initiative, particularly for violent criminals, would be a good way to stop violent criminals. I mean, people from acting in that way. If some of these Antifa members were hit with a baton really hard, it would really stop the violence. And I don't know, some of the way these individuals act, I would really like to see brute force handed to them, because they are inflicting pain on the innocent, people expressing their First Amendment rights. And I think that there needs to be pain inflicted upon them and their behavior. And also, I think people need to.
That being said, we have been able to bring someone into the fold, and I'm talking about someone who's probably one of the most brilliant minds, legal minds in this country.
Yes. Let's see here. Did you say it was Lynn Wood? This about 14 minutes long.
For you every afternoon. And this morning I woke up and I was looking over the tweets, and I saw a tweet from L. Lynn Wood. He's a famous lawyer. We can get into some of the cases. He's had Nicholas Sandman, for instance, from Covington Catholic, and he was involved in the Richard Jewell case a while back. I think he represents Kyle Rittenhouse now, and the Kenosha shooter who defended himself. And he's working on the campaign on the challenges, and he put out a tweet at 2:35 this morning. Time now to rest. Comfortable in my belief that real Donald Trump won a historic landslide victory across nation on November 3rd. Be patient. Biden will never be president of our nation. To the contrary, Biden, along with many others, will be an inmate. Be patient. Trust Trump. Joining us now is Lynn Wood. Thank you for that encouraging tweet. That really improved my mood, and I'm sure.
First of all, I always hate when people make a suggest that a Biden would ever spend a minute in jail. I just don't like how it sounds, but I get.
Well, like I said, that'll be a rare time that it does happen, but
hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other people this morning. Lynn Wood.
Well, thank you, Howie, and it's a pleasure to speak with you. That tweet was at 2:35 a.m., and that not only speaks to, I think, the time and effort that I've been putting into this, but really it reflects almost round-the-clock efforts by members of the legal profession and ordinary people of this country that are determined to not only uncover the truth, but to expose the truth. And when all is known, I am 100% confident that Donald Trump will be president of the United States for 4 more years. And I'm just as confident that Joe Biden and the people like him that have been trying to steal this election, committing crimes for years, they're going to all go to jail.
What leads you to be so optimistic? I mean, there's still time, but we're coming up to the dates of the voter certification deadline start in about 9 or 10 days from now, and as you know, it's so hard to prove ballot fraud, especially when they've been mingling the bad ballots with the good ballots to make it impossible for the law-abiding part of the population to do anything about this. Why are you confident? What leads you to think we're going to win?
I believe in we the people. This was a well-planned, probably almost for 2 decades, attack to overthrow our government. Was it well done in the sense of trying to hide the fraud? Sure, but it was too massive. Donald Trump surprised even the enemy by the wide margins in which he won in the key states they had targeted to steal. So in the middle of the night, they started having to produce tens of thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands of fake paper ballots. They had set that up with COVID. So will this be resolved? By the courts, yes. But I don't believe that it necessarily has to be resolved by the courts before the people in this country fully recognize by the irrefutable evidence that Joe Biden is illegitimate, his votes were fraudulent, he tried to steal this election and he failed. So the people of this country will actually do what the people in this country are supposed to do. The people will decide who the next president of the United States will be. It will be confirmed by the courts in terms of the illegality of the fraud.
Well, he said right now, he said he failed. I don't think Biden has exactly failed yet. I would like to, I really am of the thinking that we are going to get another 4 years of Trump, but that by no means do I think Biden's failed. I mean, every AP announced him president, which is crazy.
You know,
constitutional.
Joe, but how can there be, if, you know, look, if two sides see things so differently, and if, however this is decided, if one group believes they're being shortchanged,
mm-hmm.
how can there be peace in this country? I mean, the truth is, to me, the left lies much more than the right.
In my opinion, more people should become observers. They should observe very carefully what they are saying, what they are seeing. Look for patterns. Be critical. Be critical. Don't jump. Don't accept everything you hear, because people who are accepting, you know, they might hear something that they feel it coincides with their political beliefs and their whatever they're into, and they may not have the full context of what they're hearing and seeing, and they jump and they accept the information rather than observing it and taking a critical eye to it. I don't see how that in any world is a bad thing. But go ahead with what you're saying.
You know what? But what happens if you're observing, and what you're seeing, you know, like the way you see it as very unfair, and you're gonna want, you know, you're gonna want to resist.
That is not what observing is, though. Observing is not judging. You have to observe.
How do you get to that? I mean, like that. I don't know how you get to a point like that. Because again, how do you get to a point? You know, people by nature are biased. How do you get to a point where you're observing?
I don't. I mean, I believe we have bias. I don't believe you're ever going to get truth in a documentary film, for example. The moment something's put on film, you've got a director's perspective and his final say on an angle or a sound or what they're showing. So you see, like when it comes to something like a documentary, you're not going to get the truth, but by an observer, a true observer should be able to assess what they're seeing, and what they're looking at should give them in their mind the ring of truth. Why would you act on something if you don't feel that if you feel there's something there that's wrong, for example? And I don't know. I'll come up with an example as we go along. But I'm just saying, how does that harm a situation by being able to look at the situation first and make sure before you act that you've actually given it a good once over?
Hey, Joe, I'll tell you this: there is an article that I forget the name of it, but we're going to be having an article coming out on how people are playing with words and playing with people's perceptions on what truth is and on what reality is. And there is, you know, like, to me,
and
there's two major camps. Those that see things one way and one that sees the other. And there's like two groups that don't see things I mean, there was a time when we may disagree, but like, what is real and what is not, and the perceptions have never been further than they are now. I mean, like, the right and the left in this country, they see things completely differently. They do not see eye to eye at all. At all. We are at odds. And it's not like, I mean, these aren't reconcilable, how do you say the word? These are irreconcilable. I can't even say the word right now, but
I cannot wait to replay that later.
Yeah, thank you. It's like the popcorn drop, but no, it's like we have irreconcilable differences. We have, and now now the gentleman from YouTube Connection is saying that the best part is coming. Let it play. Let's let it play some more, Joe. But yeah.
Now and when all these deadlines,
I'm sorry, you're bloviating up a storm.
Come past, the evidence that will be put out over time will convince any fair-minded and objective American, even many who did not support Trump.
And for the record, I truly think that they have the goods, and I think that this should be something for the world to see.
That there was a concerted, calculated effort to steal our government and our freedom. And in the process, the record will show that they themselves killed many people in this country. These people are despicable. They're criminals. Going forward, I'm confident there will be no more corruption in the White House. Donald Trump's going to drain the swamp. Stay tuned.
Wait, now, are you working in a specific state, or are you just working on the overall strategy?
I'm working specifically on a lawsuit that will be filed in Georgia, where the Georgia election will have to be deemed unlawful and void because the Democrats got the Secretary of State in Georgia to enter into a consent settlement in litigation in March of this year, where the Secretary of State substantively changed the rules of the election as they related to the absentee ballots. The law doesn't allow the Secretary of State to do that. It has to be done in a federal election by the state legislature.
Right, like in Pennsylvania.
Just like in Pennsylvania, just along the same legal grounds as Justice Alito ruled when he separated the ballots.
Right.
So the state of Georgia will ultimately have to have the governor order will have to have the governor order a special session of the legislature. They will recognize that the election was unlawful and illegal, that it is likely impossible without it taking a considerable length of time to show the level of the fraud and the real vote count, so that under those circumstances, the legislature will select and elect the electors. Those electors from the state of Georgia will vote for Donald J. Trump.
I mean, that's the easiest way, and that's the constitutional way to resolve this massive fraud. But Linwood, do you really think the legislators in Georgia and the other states, all of which basically are, except for Nevada, are controlled by Republicans in both branches, do you really think the legislators have the cojones to do that?
Well, legislators are politicians, and most of these state politicians, they have to run for office within a couple of years.
Right.
Whether they have the cojones to do it or not, too many of them are in government because they want power, influence, and money. So they'll probably want to stay there. If they want to stay there, they're going to follow the will of the people. And the will of the people in this election was overwhelmingly to re-elect Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. I am confident that President Trump won a historic landslide election. What you hear now in the media, it's a lie. The media's been lying to this country as a propaganda tool for the people that were trying to overthrow our government for years. They groomed us, they played us, but you fool us once, okay, you're not going to fool the people of this country twice. We know what they've done now. They've been caught in time a lot of people are going to go to jail, Howie.
Rudy Giuliani said today to Steve Bannon that they have 3 whistleblowers from one of these software companies that was supposedly involved in this on a multi-state level that have already come forward. Is that true, as far as you know?
Well, I know that there are whistleblowers. I think there's probably going to be much more than 3. But I can tell you that the evidence is going to be undisputed that the Dominion voting machines were originally in Venezuela, paid for by Cuban money, and then found their way into this country in business relationships tied to George Soros and to the Clinton Foundation. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out who's behind the effort to overthrow our government. It's the global elitists, it's the criminals like the Clinton crime family, and the country's going to find out there's been a heavy involvement by China. We're going to go through some difficult days and weeks ahead, but we're going to prevail. Freedom's going to reign, but it's going to be difficult. But when it's over, things in this country are going to return to the days of when we lived a truthful life and we get rid of all this swamp, these swamp creatures who have used our government, used our taxpayers' money.
Amen. Nicely put.
Stick it in their own pockets, like Joe Biden, like Bill Clinton, like Hillary Clinton, like Barack Obama.
This is one of the better interviews I've heard in a while. I mean, I hear them on much smaller podcasts and stuff. I hear these sort of thoughts echoed, but this is pretty damn well played.
But I'll tell you something, Joe.
Yeah.
Right now, we are not unified. And how can you unify with someone who doesn't respect your human rights? And with that, Joe, I gotta get up early in the morning, and I gotta get ready for bed. I know I've been joking around with Willie. Willie, I don't mean any harm, but Willie likes to, for whatever reason, likes to lecture me. Makes it like on my personal life and my personal love life or the life, and I try to keep certain things. I'll say public, and other things I will not, and I just don't find that.
He's just making a suggestion, and he doesn't know anything about your past, or very little. So,
and I prefer to keep it. I just not that I have anything against Willie, but I prefer to keep it that way. Hey, Joe, is there anything to add? Hey, guys, I want you to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Joe, is there anything?
Just real quick, YouTube Addiction says no lawyer would say any of that in public if he wasn't 100% sure he has the evidence. We are heading in the next 6 months. We are going to be seeing some amazing things in this world. They are absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be an amazing sight for all to see, not just people in America. But all right, Transparency Merit, go to the website, Transparency Merit, and sign up. You don't have to pay anything. We do have stuff that's for subscribers only, but you don't need to do that just to subscribe, because we're going to have newsletters, and you want to get those, and blog posts, and we're selling some cool stuff for very cheap. You can go and get some cool T-shirts. So head over to Transparency and Merit. All right, you done?
Wait, no, I want to say this. You're missing the part where he says China and the Democrats created COVID is a bioweapon to use on America. That is a really big stretch, and I don't know how provable that is.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go down that road either. So it's a tough. Yeah, if he went down that road, then I'm glad we stopped where we stopped. Anyway, any other? You want to hear more, or do you want to get out of here?
You know what? I have to get to bed, but you know what? That's maybe you should listen to that.
Yeah.
If you want to continue it, Joe, and you want to listen to it, but I'm gonna take off. If you want to listen to it,
be accomplished though by December 14th when the Electoral College meets.
I'll play the rest of this, and then I'll end it there.
I don't know anything about. I'm sure this will proceed on the timing that our president sets forth. I would like to think that over the next several days, that we'll learn increasingly more about the evidence that establishes the crimes that have been committed. So that within a period of time, reasonable period of time, the evidence is going to have mounted up to a point where the people know what happened. They will accept that it was a fraud, a theft of our election, and then the people will demand justice and accountability. We've been waiting for that from the Jeffrey Epstein matter. We've been waiting for it from the John Durham matter. We've been waiting for it from the Hunter Biden laptop, the Anthony Weiner laptop. We've been waiting for it now for the election theft and fraud. All of these things are going to be revealed. Every lie, Howie, every lie, with time, will be revealed.
I just hope it's in time. I just hope there's enough time to get everything out. You know, there's already polls out there run by the same people who said Joe Biden was going to win in a landslide that say over half the people in the country already believe that this was a fraudulent election. So, you know, but the mainstream media is good.
Those numbers will grow. Those numbers will grow.
Yeah, but the mainstream media,
50%.
the mainstream.
Yeah, but again, this they're a little naive here, I think, for a guy that knows so much.
Hey, Joe.
Those numbers are dramatic. Even if those numbers are dramatically different already, we're not going to hear that. What's up, Brian?
I'm going to go to the store real quick. Just continue to run the.
I thought you left already. All right. I'm going to finish watching the video, so get out of here.
You want to end it.
And suing, God bless you for doing it. They're going to say, they're going to say, oh, it's over. It's over. What these guys, those guys, Lynn Wood and Howie Carr and everybody who's listening and watching them, they're conspiracy theorists.
Well, conspiracy theorist is that I've heard that phrase. I know what it was developed to do, to demean people who tell the truth, people who connect the dots. Don't forget that one of the major culprits is one of the most corrupt organizations in the world, the CIA. Mm-hmm. Trust me, they've been trying to corrupt this country since the 1950s. President Eisenhower said when he gave his last speech to the country before John F. Kennedy was inaugurated, that the greatest threat to this country was not external, it was internal. It was the military-industrial complex. When when that's uncovered, there's going to be a lot of CIA and the national security agencies. They're going to be in jail too. But let me give you some really, really, really good news. All of these corrupt people in the media that have served for money as the propaganda tool, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, oh boy, CNN.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere good. Okay, this is great. I have been all about ending or defunding the media and or dishing out what they deserve for what they've done. There's no
the Washington Post.
There's no other way about it, in my view. We get 100% propaganda, and it's not. Our news has never been. It's never been what we thought it was, but what Orson Welles told us it was long ago.
Post, New York Times, Atlantic, Mother Jones, you name the list. They're going to be destroyed too because they will have no credibility at all. The days of watching the mainstream media are over because they're going to be revealed as liars, and they fell for it, but they didn't really fall for it. They were part of it. They're all going down, Howie. We're going to have a new day in America.
I hope so. I hope so, Lynn Wood. But listen, we're out of time. But keep putting out those tweets in the early morning hours. Something to cheer everybody up who's on.
I want everybody to feel better about this because it's all going to end good. Trust me.
All right, Lynn Wood, will you represent Richard Hopkins, that postal carrier in Erie, Pennsylvania? He wants to. I think he wants to sue the Washington Post for making up that story about him today.
Well, I mean, he'd have to come to me. I don't know that my practice would allow me, but I have a Fight Back Foundation, 501c4, that I formed several months ago to help people preserve and to protect their constitutional rights. And if I can't take him on, I can sure help him find somebody.
Well, that's great.
Wow, 501c4. I've never even heard of that.
Don't know that my practice would allow me, but I have a Fight Back Foundation, 501c4, that I formed several months ago to help people preserve and to protect their constitutional rights. And if I can't take him on, I can sure help him find somebody.
Well, that's great. We'll let him know. That's a what's the name of the group? Fight Back.
Hashtag Fight Back Foundation.
Hashtag.
Now, the Organization of Transparency and Merit is a nonprofit organization, and I've been in the process of getting status as 501c3. But now that I'm hearing this, it sounds very similar to the mission I'd like to see for transparency and merit. I may look into 501c4. So the things you learn.
That I formed several months ago to help people preserve and to protect their constitutional rights. And if I can't take him on, I can sure help him find somebody.
Well, that's great. We'll let him know. That's a what's the name of the group? Fight Back.
Hashtag Fight Back Foundation.
Hashtag
you
Fight
go on my
Back.
Twitter page, you'll
Okay.
You'll see it. We're trying to raise money for Kyle Rittenhouse after I assemble some criminal lawyers to defend that boy who is innocent and is a political prisoner. We'll get him out. Justice will be served. This country is going to return to being a country of truth. We've been a country of lies for too long.
I was sorry he was extradited.
You know, that what he said, I've been craving to hear over the airwaves from different sources. The sources, the videos I watch, I hear that all the time. I've looked back into our country's history, into our world's history, and looked at the lies and the deception, and it's quite a thing. His story has never been more relevant, and in this process, I've come to see how many lies are told. Maybe not even, I may even not, I'm not sure I know even close to how many lies there are, but I'm saying I've seen so much deception to be on the same playing field as where Linwood is at here. People that know me, they know I'm calling everything out as a lie all the time. I don't want to live in a world like that.
But I have confidence in you, and it seems like that's a cut and dried case. That it was self-defense all the way. Lynn,
I will say that while the timing of the extradition was a little surprising, upon reflection, I think that he was moved to Kenosha because he is very safe in Kenosha. The sheriff of Kenosha is going to make sure that Kyle Rittenhouse is safe.
That's good. That's good. Linwood, thanks so much for coming on with us.
All righty. Thanks again for that video, and we'll make sure to watch more of your posts if that's the sort of content you're posting. And that's what we encourage with Transparency and Merit, to come here and share these sort of ideas where we could scrutinize without judgment. We could have a discussion, and amazingly, while I see a lot of what was being told in that video, and I've called out so many lies, and yet people don't react to it. They seem to want more evidence than what I could provide. So I need to stay on my. It gives me hope. It makes me want to keep on that path. There's no shame in calling out bullshit for what it is, and we were all born with free will. We could do that, and until the point where we cannot do that, and of course, we don't want to go to that place. I think we're entering a time right now, as we speak. We're entering a better time for these lies to be exposed once and for all. And that's what I'm looking for. Thank you for listening to Transparency and Merit. Go to the website, transparencyandmerit.com. Andy Bowen, you were so late. You missed some radical phone calls by Willie.